You're waiting for disaster to happen and you feel God didn't show up, and then rock bottom hits and your faith gives in. Hi, welcome to another episode of Coffee with a Therapist. My name is Irene. A friend of mine not long ago asked me, are there people who cannot be helped? Is there a person who walks in and you feel their worth? As much as they will have session after session, they are not able to be helped. Are there people who God cannot rescue? And I said, there's a season, there's a time, and there's a person, even who God can help, and therapy, however awesome and professional it is, can never work and help a person who hasn't hit rock bottom. Rock bottoms are different. You can determine what your rock bottom is. Another word for it is until an individual comes to themselves, they cannot be helped. I'll tell you a story of a young man who was raised in a wealthy family home. And one day he asked his fathers for half of his inheritance. Having a good father, he took and gave his son half of his inheritance. And the young man left and went to the city and squandered the property, the high life, the cars. He enjoyed himself. And as usual, without investing, without good guidance, without good friends, his money ran out like it always does. And once it does, even the friends take off. And he found himself homeless and in need of a job, and got a job taking care of pigs. The environment where pigs are is smelly. And I can imagine for him it was smelly. He didn't have money. He's bitter and angry. You don't need skills to take care of the pigs because it is just dirty. The environment is disgusting. He was staying with pigs. Pigs love the environment. They love the dirt, the mud. This is where they thrive. And he found himself eating food meant for the pigs. But one day, the young man came to himself. The good book tells us. I'm sure coming to himself, he must have sat and had a meeting with himself, like many of us should be doing right now, today, tomorrow, but sooner than we can imagine. He had a meeting with himself and he says, my father's servants eat better, do better. In that place of rock bottom, he came to himself and realized he needed help. What is your rock bottom? Your rock bottom could be finding yourself in a wheelchair. I once had a client who said, my greatest gift in life was finding myself in a wheelchair because I lived a reckless life. I was endangering my life, drinking while drunk. That was his rock bottom. What is your rock bottom? Many people are going on with life. And I will tell you, an unexamined life is not a life worth living at all. You have to be in a place where you decide what is your rock bottom. You have, and I'm speaking to you, you've had 3 warnings from the office. Are you waiting for the 4th and to be sacked? Then you will hit rock bottom. You're cheating on your wife and your family, and you've had near misses. Are you waiting for the end to come when it all falls apart and you lose your family? Then you will say, this is rock bottom. As a teenager, you went out to campus to read, but you found yourself cussing out your parents, in bad relationships with everybody. and you keep on going on and on, I want to employ to you to come to your senses, to come to yourself before you get pregnant and say, this is my rock bottom, this is my wake-up call. You're a mother, you're a wife in a crazy relationship. You're being beaten and battered. We can't help you until you come to yourself and say no. Will you wait for your hand to be broken, for you to determine enough? I can't take any of this. You're a politician and you could be. And you've seen that I'm enjoying the wealth, the money, but you know, for you, it's as if you're staying in pigs. That's not who you were. That's not what you were called to do in serving people. Where is the rock bottom for you? To lose all your wealth? This is for a season, it's not forever. What is your rock bottom? You can't go on living the life the way you've done. And all these examples are gory. It's not for you because you're a church girl. You're a good churchman. You love God and you serve in church. So for you, there is no rock bottom. But the truth is, you need also to examine your life and realize that you're in a social club. You do the activities, but your real life, when you examine it, you have nothing to show for 5-10 years of serving and being there. You have not changed your anger, your attitude, your unforgiveness. You're waiting for disaster to happen and you feel God didn't show up, and then rock bottom hits and your faith gives in. What is your rock bottom? You need to examine your life. And an individual who is not willing by any means to come to themselves, to hit rock bottom, you cannot help them. Why? Because once you hit rock bottom, then you are able to say, wait, I need to change. Something's got to give. That's when you get angry with how your life has been. And life is in patterns. Others, their graph goes up and up and up and up with ups and downs. Because there's no one who doesn't experience life in its best and hardest. But many of us, our life pattern is we go round in circles, spiraling, up and you come down, up and you come down. When will you examine your life? Unless you start introspecting and sit down and have a meeting with yourself and tell yourself, wait, I need to examine me. And why don't we want to come to ourselves? It's because while you were growing up, anything that referred to you was all negative. You're either being quarreled, blamed for something. It was all negative. All the focus was on outside, the activities, how you behaved to the visitors, how you showed up to the world. And anything that referred to you was all negative. That is unless you are not winning all the medals. Deep in you, anything that comes and you look inward, you have self-criticism. You put yourself down. And no wonder when I say you need to examine your life, it's a very, very hard task. You don't want to see. You don't want to examine your life. And it's not worth living. Because down the road you'll find you have progressed and achieved nothing. You climbed and worked so hard only to find yourself in the wrong mountain. You wasted years after years after years. You were not living life. Today I want to implore you to examine your life, to decide that the first warning is your rock bottom. To decide that no, I am angry all the time. I had a car accident. I cast out my parents. That is my rock bottom. I implore you to decide your rock bottom is today and not wait for it to get worse and worse and worse. I have a friend in some work I do in the slum, and his name is John, not his real name. We'll call him John Doe. John Doe grew up in opulence. He studied in England. He has been to the palace. And unfortunately, life happened, and John stays in Kibera. If you ever went to Kibera, he's eloquent, his English is immaculate. In that small space in Kibera, he thrives. He can make food. He's intelligent. But he still hasn't hit rock bottom. I tell you that story to show you that what for you is rock bottom, to somebody else is still not rock bottom. For him, he still hasn't hit rock bottom. And we cannot help him. So please, examine your life today. It's me as always, Coffee with a Therapist. Thank you.